Hey everyone, welcome to the results video of multiplayer round 40. Now, as you may be able to see, this is a really big map, and that's because this was another team round. So kinda like round 10, we had several really big plots with, in this round we had 4-player teams, and every team got to build something on one of the 9 plots. And every team had to build something in an Asian theme. Now, we had some really amazing stuff being built here, so that's why the scores for this round are also incredibly high. But one team will have to get last place. So I will start with the team that got last place, and I'll finish with the one that's the winner of this round. Okay, in last place we have this plot from Sundaes past. Let me quickly use the cutaway view. I will use that for every plot, because also it's quite difficult to distinguish between them. Okay, what I really liked about this team is that they actually went for a recreation of the Japanese coaster Thunder Dolphin. If you don't know about Thunder Dolphin, it's a coaster in, I believe it's in Tokyo. I'm not actually sure, so correct me if I'm wrong. It's really in the middle of the city somewhere, and the coaster actually travels over and through some of the buildings. So this is not a true recreation, it has different colors, also a slightly different layout, but it is at least recognizable as Thunder Dolphin. So here's the station for the ride. The chain lift goes up here, then here there's a vertical drop. It's probably because of the space that's available on this plot that they decided to go vertical here. And here it goes down again, and it travels over the building. Then here's a drop down again. I believe normally it would go through a building, but instead here they only go through a Ferris wheel. That's also what the real Thunder Dolphin does. It travels through a Ferris wheel, which it's a spokeless Ferris wheel. So in the middle there's a gap and the coaster travels through it. It's quite a beautiful sight. And then after that it travels over this building again, and just like the real thing, it snakes a bit to the sides. Or it has some shallow hills with some weird banking. So those things make it recognizable as the Thunder Dolphin. Now there's also some other buildings here. These buildings are quite simple. You can especially see it in this building. It's quite blocky. I think these other buildings have a more interesting shape, also with these New York roof pieces here on the side, or these this trim on the side, and also these lamps. I like these buildings here more than this one, for example. There's also a little log flume here, also with some really nice decorations. And in the rest of the plot there's just a lot of nice plants and rocks and stuff. So all in all, I think this is a nice and simple plot. Not too much here in terms of attractions, but at least I think the coaster is at least recognizable as a recreation of Thunder Dolphin. Nice work. Alright, here's the plot that got second place. This one was made by the meme team, which I was part of. I will quickly do the cutaway view thingy. There we go. Now, you may be thinking this plot is a little bit messy, and you are right. Now, the idea for this plot was that this was a Chinese park. The park is called Cut Park, starting with a Q. And we tried to make it as Chinese as possible. So, this coaster here, it's a knockoff Vekoma coaster. It even has it in the name, cheap Vekoma copy. I also gave it a really slow chain lift, because it's actually based on a real Chinese coaster. It also has a really slow chain lift. I guess they often just try to use the cheapest motor they can get, and yeah, that's usually visible in the speed with which these trains travel up their lift hills. Now, something that's also really Chinese is nail houses. I don't know if you know about them, but quite often in China these huge construction projects are started, and they will already start while for example, a neighborhood will have to be torn down for them to replace it all with big apartment complexes or like a highway junction. So usually they will give all the house owners in that area a sum of money in the hope that they move out. But usually, actually quite often one house owner will not take the money, and then the construction project will just take place around the house until finally they're offered a big enough sum of money, or the water, electricity are cut, etc. So that's actually also what we did here. So you can see this little house here. It's actually in the way for the brake run of the coaster, so that's why it's built around here. So yeah, there's also a big Ferris wheel here. It's very reliable. It's not on fire. That's just a glitch on your monitor. It's perfectly safe for all these guests that are in it. Don't worry. Now, something that's also very Chinese is a copyright infringement. So we actually copied several buildings from other plots and just put them in here. So these buildings, they're all copied, and this temple here as well. Now here's something else that we did. So in order to make space for this park, well, you can actually see a higher part here with all these forests with pandas in it, part of the Great Wall of China, and this temple here. And we put this big digging machine here, and this digging machine is making space for the park expansion. You can see the parts for an SLC coaster here, a suspended looping coaster. And for that, all this crap has to be moved out of the way. So that's what the digging machine is for. And everything it digs up, it throws it in the river in Chinese fashion. So the name of this ride is called Tief alles in de water. If you're Dutch, you'll probably understand what that means. But yeah, that was kind of our entry. Now, many people liked the jokes, but also a lot of people rated our entry a lot lower because we copied all their buildings in the true Chinese fashion. But I don't mind. We had a lot of fun making this. So let's move on to the next entry. Okay, here's the entry from the team named "And the winner is." Well, they didn't end up winning the round, but I think it is a nice name for their team. Okay, so here we have a dive coaster. I really like how it travels through this round building with the big billboard on top. Now, I wasn't able to decipher what this billboard actually says. Maybe I need to zoom out. I'm not really sure. But yeah, maybe one of their team members can explain what it says. I don't really know. Anyway, yeah, so we have a dive coaster here. It goes through this round building here. I do like the way this round building looks. And it travels through these buildings here. Then it pops out of this tunnel again. It's kind of difficult to follow. Pops out of the tunnel, goes through these breaks. Here's another inversion. And then here it returns back to the station. I kind of like how this station is built. It's actually it actually consists of a lot of ride exits. That's something you don't see very often. But yeah, sadly, as you can see, it is quite glitchy. So that's a little bit annoying. Now there are also some roads here with cars going around on them, and also some pedestrian junctions. They are also a little bit glitchy, sadly. Yeah, I like the shape of these buildings. Lots of ride stalls being used. So yeah, it's a very interesting entry. My favorite part of this entry was actually this cutout here of the subway system. I really liked that you can actually look inside this building, and you can also see the subway going around here. Oh yeah, and there's also something interesting here. This is Deurklink and a Scottish novice together on this balcony with this hot tub. I don't know what they're doing there, but I thought it was funny. Alright, let's move on to the next entry. Okay, here we have the entry from Team 23. They made a section of, I believe it was Dubai, or well, it was in the United Arab Emirates at least. But yeah, what you can see is these big buildings here. I especially love this building here in the corner. I think this shape is really interesting. And also this glass, the way they did the glass here, it actually looks like it's like it curves around here. Well, it actually doesn't, but yeah, you can do really cool things with perspective tricks. Also like the lower floor of this building. So yeah, it's something that's good to remember when making these big buildings. It's always make the bottom floor different from the floors above it. That's usually how buildings are created in real life as well, and that's something they did really nicely. You can also see it here. So yeah, these large buildings, they're pretty interesting. Except this one probably looks a little bit empty on the inside. It's usually nice to yeah, at least make it a little bit darker, or put some objects inside just to make it look a little bit busy rather than empty. But I also understand that it's a lot of work for a building this size. For example, for this building where the windows are darker, it's less of an issue. You can actually see some movement inside because apparently there are some guests walking around in them. And the rest of the plot, yeah, that's completely looks completely different. This looks a little bit more Arabic, maybe a little bit more poor area. I'm not sure, but yeah, there's a water coaster going around here, and there's also a B&M coaster going around in this area. So with what looks like a smaller office building here, and here in the corner there's some trees made out of other trees. Now personally, yeah, I think these trees look a little bit square. They have a little bit of a weird shape to me, so that's why I personally didn't really like them. But overall, this is a nice entry. I think it would have been even better if there was more of a gradual, yeah, if it went more gradually from the theme of these large buildings into this lower area. Right now it's quite abrupt, and it really looks like it's yeah, it actually looks like it's three different plots here. So yeah, some more coherent design would have probably helped a lot here. Okay, then we make quite a big jump in score. We are now above the mark of, well, above 8 points. So, here's the plot from Curry. They took the middle plot on this map. And yeah, this I think this looks really cool. They didn't provide a story, but I guess it looks sort of maybe Indian or Arabic or something in between. Not really sure. Probably Indian. But yeah, this is a really impressive looking castle. I love how this Eurofighter coaster travels around it. Yeah, the only thing I didn't really like about this Eurofighter was that this yeah, it uses the B&M track here, but also for this beyond vertical drop. I think this would look much nicer with the limb launched coaster track, or something that looks more flat. It looks a little bit silly like this. But other than that, this I think this coaster looks pretty good. I especially love how it travels over the entrance of the building here, kind of like an arch. And yeah, this inversion also looks pretty fun, I think. Yeah, other than that, there's a lot of smaller buildings here. I guess this is the sort of like a slum area that has to contrast this huge castle over here. And there's also this water area here with lots of boats going around. Some canoes, rowing boats. There's also a boat parked here. It's a market boat. So yeah, there's lots of interesting buildings throughout this entry. Yeah, it's really fun to just go through this area and discover everything that was built here. So yeah, really nice entry from Curry. Also an empty boat going around here. Probably, oh, it actually says wait for full load. So I don't know why the boat travels around empty. No idea. By the way, you can also download this map from my Discord if you want to check out these plots for yourself. I highly recommend it. I cannot go through everything that's there to find on all these plots because they're just too detailed. So yeah, if you go on my Discord, the link is in the video description, then you can download the map from the multiplayer archive. And don't worry, Discord is completely free, so you can join without issues. You just have to make a Discord account. Okay, here's the entry from Zara Cedra 007 Mug. Now you may be thinking that's kind of a weird name. It is a weird name. It's the name has a small part of the name of all the team members. Anyway, yeah, this looks like a more modern city, kind of Japanese. It probably also explains the Japanese flag here. So yeah, there's lots going on in this plot. Well, first of all, yeah, the plot was named after Godzilla. They actually used the Goliath characters here to spell out Godzilla, and they put a Z and a D for the characters they couldn't make with with the Goliath sign. And they even put a big tracker texture Goliath here, or a Godzilla, I mean. That's pretty cool. Apparently it holds an airplane here and just smashing up stuff. So yeah, very impressive buildings here as well. Oh, I also like this drop tower here on the side. I hadn't actually seen it. It's probably also one of those shoestring rides, because that's what Zarathustra likes to do, and he is on their team. Also a helicopter parked here on top of this building, made out of track pieces, and a monorail car. That's really impressive. Also this swing ride here on the top. I also really like how they made this building out of monorail trains. You don't see that very often. They also made some really clever rides. Well, here's a multi-dimension coaster. I think this one was sort of resembles the coaster Ijenaika. I believe it sort of has the same layout. I think it looks really impressive here in this plot. You don't see people make these coasters very often. I think they did a really nice job on the supports as well. So yeah, I really enjoy when people make one of these and they do it in such a good way. Really impressive. There's also a super loop right here. Another shoestring ride. So it travels back and forth a few times, and I'm assuming then after that it travels through the loop one or more times. There it goes. And the ride I was actually most impressed with was this coaster over here. And that's really mostly because it does the entire track backwards. Now this also used a little bit of a shoestring trick. So from what I heard, they split off the last car and it goes around in a little infinite shoestring track underground. And because of that, for some reason, this coaster also just keeps going when it's traveling backwards up the lift hill. So yeah, just check this one out for yourself. I think it's really impressive how they did it. And yeah, I might do a tutorial soon on how to make one of these yourselves. I think it's quite fun to have a backwards coaster in your plot or in your entry. Alright, yeah, other than that, there's some traffic going around here. I love how busy this part of the city is. Also with some suspended monorails going around. Just a very cool entry to look at. Okay, here's the entry from the Iron Taunters. Actually, what I really liked about this entry was that, well, you can see our plot from the meme team right next to it. And we actually just copied this building, which is right next to ours. And we also just copied this building. You can see it over here. Anyway, let me do the cutaway view. So yeah, I think this is visually a very nice entry. I already love the elevation in this entry. It's higher up in the middle and kind of with a big wall around it. It kind of looks like a big fort. I love these entrance gates that they made. Not even sure how they did this. Okay, it's just apparently a skyscraper piece. Let me quickly find it. Okay, so this is apparently one of the expansion objects. I didn't know it existed, but it will for sure be helpful to make nice arches. So yeah, incredible buildings throughout this entry. Some of them are actually pretty simple. I know that because we copied some of them. But still, while simple, I think they look really nice here. It's just really a brilliant mix of architecture. Kind of looks Arabic, but yeah, this looks more Asian again. It's kind of a unique mix, I think. But yeah, I love the colors they used in their entry. There's some different colors, but it's mostly all consistent, and it makes it look very uniform. It makes it look like everything fits together. Now I love the way this coaster travels through this entry. I think it's done very nicely. It's one of these Vekoma suspended looping coasters, but one with a custom layout. I wish there were more of those in the world. But yeah, it's really cool to see it pop in and out of this big structure several times, and to see it go around the entire plot. Now they also made a really nice mini golf here. We actually also copied it. And there's also a really cool waterfall here. I really like how this swing ride actually travels above the water here, and then it overshoots the waterfall here. This waterfall is really nicely framed with these sandstone corner pieces. So yeah, this is a really nice entry. Yeah, great work. Okay, there's two plots remaining. There's the one from Simply Fish and the one from the 6th dimension. I will show both of them first, and then after that I will reveal which team is the winner of the round. So I'll start with Simply Fish. So let me do the cutaway view. There we go. Now this plot looks really good. I just love the way all these buildings are done. It's a lot of tracky texture roof, but at least they're consistent in their use of them. It's just really nice buildings throughout the plot, and these buildings all, they're all a bit in the same style, but they all do look different. I think that's really nice. Also, here's a building that we copied in our plot. So yeah, there's also a coaster going around here. It is quite difficult to follow because it travels through all these buildings. It does pop out of the buildings several times. Yeah, there's just so much to see it. I keep discovering new little details every time I look at this plot. I mean, I love all the machinery going around here. It's kind of steampunky. Also a custom carousel going around here in the corner. I think this looks really nice, also with the pagoda in the middle and the architecture roof around it. I love this train that travels throughout this entire plot, over all these beautiful bridges here and through all these buildings. I believe it has 2 stations. Not really sure if this is actually a station. I think it is. But yeah, this building, it looks really cool. And there's another station here on this side. They called it the Orient Express. I think these station buildings are the nicest buildings here on this entry. Now they even made an airship here. I love the way they made these clouds here and this what is it? Airship Red Dragon. Probably just decoration here on the back. And yeah, they even used a coaster car here from a dragon coaster here on the front as a decoration. That's really cool. So yeah, just a really nice entry. Definitely check this one out for yourself. There's just so much to see here. I cannot possibly cover everything in this video. So yeah, very cool entry. Alright, now let's check out the other entry that is in the top 2. Okay, here's the entry from the 6th dimension. So yeah, they had this story about this Vietnamese village. It was abandoned due to COVID-19, and then later all the inhabitants came back. I believe it was because the dragon also came back and they came to worship it, etc. That's also why you can see this big dragon floating around this entry. This dragon, I think it looks absolutely amazing. I mean, look at its face. That's some really nice architecture. But also the body of the dragon itself. That's done really nicely. Now, also the entry itself. I love this fish market that they made. Yeah, like a floating fish market, typical of Southeast Asia. Here you can also see a temple, one that we copied in our plot. So yeah, you can see this temple here. It looks really nice here. This plot was called Halong Bay. Now, also some other really nice buildings here. Here's a big torii gate. I believe you will typically only see this in Japan, but I could be mistaken. But I do like how this ride is that's swinging around is suspended from the gate. That's pretty cool. I love all these boats going around here, but also the underwater plants. And they even use the green square trick to make it look like there's fishes swimming around. I should probably also do a tutorial on that trick, because these green squares, they're really useful. So yeah, there's also a bigger boat here. This one looks really nice. Kind of looks like a food court or something, with all these tables here on the deck. This looks so good. And also they made some underwater pods here. You can see them encased in glass. It's probably to help the guests move from island to island. But yeah, that's also really nice. Now there's also a coaster going around here. So you can see it. Well, you can see it coming from here. There's a launched lift hill here, and then it travels throughout this plot. It actually uses the dragon coaster trains. Here there's also a cobra roll, and I like how they put these barrels here to make it look like the coaster is floating on the water. Not really sure how structurally sound that is, but it is at least pretty creative. Alright, now it's time to reveal who's the winner of this round. The winner of multiplayer round 40 is... crap, I forgot the team name. Let's see. Simply Fish. So, I'm gonna quickly do the cutaway view again. But yeah, I really love this entry. I gave it the maximum score. I was really impressed by all these buildings. They look fantastic. There's just so much going on in this entry. I forgot to mention it earlier, but they also used the trick with the green squares to make it look like there's fishes underwater. There's so much cool stuff to look at in this entry. Like I said, go download this map for yourself and check out all these entries. There's just so much to take in. Now, all these entries scored reasonably high. This is just amazing work. I love the stuff every team put together in this round. The quality in this round was absolutely bonkers. So yeah, a new multiplayer round will start soon. If you want to join a round on my server, then you have to be a trusted member on my Discord server. So if you want to become a trusted member on my Discord, just become a member on my Discord first and just be active, show your work, participate in discussions, etc. And before you know it, you'll be marked a trusted member, and then you can also play on my server. Sadly, I cannot just let everyone play on my server, because I've made a video that shows what happens, and it's not good when you just let everyone build or destroy. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I'll see you again in the next one. See you later.